Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and it is so good to be here with you. I have been so busy. How about you? If you are new to the show, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I have been doing this for 4 years, and I love every single minute of it. And believe it or not, when I was just talking to somebody recently, and I mentioned that I was afraid to speak in public and so scared to speak in public and got so nervous that in ninth grade, I went to my guidance counselor and told them that I couldn't do it, that I was just getting sick before class every time. But if you are new to the show, welcome. This is the show where we educate you, empower you with that education, entertain you a little bit, and inspire you to live your most fearlessly authentic life. Because, in my opinion, if we're not doing that on a daily basis, what the heck are we doing here? And I know that it's much harder to do than than it always feels like. It's always much, much harder to say, oh, I'm going to live my most fearlessly authentic life. Trust me, I know. And it is about a lot of different reasons why we don't necessarily step into our true authenticity. And that is what we are going to talk about today, as well as a few tips to help you get there. So you can follow me at Jody Harrison Bauer on all of my social media platforms, including YouTube. And you should follow me on either Apple or wherever you listen to your streaming podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever. Just follow me at Fearlessly Authentic. There are a few Fearlessly Authentics, but follow me, Jody Harrison Bauer. So today I wanted to share something with you that I was actually talking to my daughter about today. And in speaking about being fearlessly authentic. So if you're new to the show, I'll just give you a little background about me, that my new identity and my new story in life started really in my 40s when I decided that the life that I was living was not true to me. It didn't feel like I was living the life I wanted to live. I was watching everybody live the life they wanted to live, including my then husband. And I was actually on board with that. And I wonder if a lot of you are feeling the same way. I was on board with that. I couldn't wait to stop working and start a family and have my daughters, and everything was great until I realized that at 35, so I had my daughters at 28 and 32. At 35, I'd gotten into the best shape of my life. I had hired a trainer and he taught me how to lift really heavy. And that really changed everything for me, because up until that time, for like 15 years, I was doing classes, I was lifting, but I wasn't putting 100% of myself into it. So I decided to hire a trainer and really understand all that I could about food and how to get in the best shape of my life so I could embrace healthy aging. So I could have strong bones, so I could have a strong core, so I could have energy as I aged. And I sort of knew that way back in 1994, but the real drive to it was a challenge to me. Can I get into the best shape of my life at 35? Can I compete at the age of 35? So all of these things were going through my mind. Anyway, I was doing all of those things for me. So in my own mind, I I felt like I had a really good life. And from the outside, everybody thought I had a really good life. And it's not like it was a bad life. It was a very good life. And but I didn't feel like I had any support in what I was doing. And that was really important to me. I worked out while my daughters were at school and my husband was working. So I never got into disrupting anybody's schedule. And that was sort of, that made sense since I was a full-time mom and I wasn't working at a job except part-time training and coaching people. So I started thinking about, there's something missing from my life. Have you ever felt that way? There's something missing from my life, but what exactly is it? I felt like I was confined, that all I ever was going to be was a mom and a wife and a volunteer. But I wanted something more because I didn't want my daughters just looking at me as just their mom. And I also didn't want my then husband to just look at me and just say, I'm just his wife. Like, what do I bring to the table? What interesting conversations can I bring to the table that maybe I wasn't bringing? I just felt that there was something missing. So to make a long story short, uh, after many therapy sessions and a lot of inward reflection, I realized that the only way to be me and to embrace myself fully and to live the life I wanted, this was a change from the life that I wanted or thought I wanted when I got married at 24. So at 42, I got divorced. And now at that time, so that's 21 years ago, now I had to create a whole new plan for myself. I had to create a new identity. I had to create a new life. And it was very scary. Also, being a single mom is a tough job, even though their dad was very involved and still is to this day as they're adults. That it was very scary, but it was very exciting. But I knew I had to move fast. So moving fast, after I had taken the biggest chance on myself and gotten divorced, which was nobody on either side of our families were divorced. So this was a big shockaroonie. And I was not, if you've listened to any of my other episodes, I am not a rebel. I was not a rebel at all. Up until I got divorced, I followed all the rules. I was a good soldier. I didn't do anything wrong. But that was what was part of me that's missing, that I was doing everything that everybody else expected of me. And when I did broach the subject to my ex-husband about competing in fitness shows, he said to me, not as long as you're my wife. My wife will not be getting on stage in a bikini and stripper heels. And I thought, well, that's a little bit of a problem because this is something I really want to do. And this is something that I know that I would be successful at. Now, remember, I worked full-time as a buyer for a department store before I stopped to have children in 1989 when my oldest was born. And I went on buying trips and I was in the city all the time. That's New York City, for those of you who don't know what the city is. And it was a big job. I won awards. I was recognized by the company several times. And then suddenly, well, not suddenly, then I decided to stop working to start a family. And that was the plan. So nothing really surprised me. But what surprised me as the girls got older was what's next for me. What do I want to create? What do I want to be a part of? What are my ambitions? And my ambition was that I knew my body was strong. I knew that I could do a lot with my body. It was always the thing that brought me strength. My body was strong. It knew how to function. I started dancing when I was 2 years old. So I always had a very strong mind-body connection. And my mind had gotten stronger from working out. because you need your mind to tell you, okay, Jody, it's time to work out. And then your body follows where the mind goes. Your mind tells your body what to do, then your body goes there. So I already had almost 20 years of strength training behind me. And it just seemed like a very normal thing. So I started to pursue that. But what was different now at this point in my life was, although I still wanted people to approve of what I was doing, surviving the disapproval of friends and family because of the divorce, I became more resilient. I began to believe in myself more. And I wasn't as afraid to take risks. So, as you are listening in your car or at home right now, and you're at the edge of disliking your job, disliking your relationship, or should I say being unhappy, and you want to do something different, you want to create something new for yourself, a new relationship, a new job, a new you. It's not too late. It's not too early. But for most of you listening, it's not too late. Take a chance on yourself. I thought I was old at 42, and here I am at 63. And I've never looked back. And that's the biggest mistake we can make. Sure, do I have some regrets? I do. But they're not really about the decisions that have gotten me from there to here. So I went from a scaredy cat all the way back in high school, not able to make the class because I literally got violently sick, to stepping away from a relationship where I couldn't grow any longer. So it wasn't as if, sure, there were some not great things about it. Obviously, if everything was great, then I would have stayed married. But there were things that were missing. So I decided that after that big decision, I could almost do anything. I felt powerful. So I decided to start taking more risks on myself and not looking for acceptance and approval. I started to trust myself and go forward, not look back. Accepting myself, that I'm good enough, that I'm enough, and that I deserve to take these risks, and that I deserve to grow and go after what I want. And I realized that not everybody has the same kind of dreams that I do. And maybe when they express their disapproval for what I'm doing, that what it really is that they disapprove with the way they feel inside. They're not feeling good about the way they feel inside. So I realized pretty quickly that I couldn't allow other people's opinions to get in the way of what I wanted to accomplish. And that was really hard for me, but it was also really, really, really empowering. And that's what the focus of this show is all about, is to educate you on the things that you need help with, and then to empower you so you can be fearless and authentic. So one of the things that I did is, in becoming self-aware, in clarifying my values, I started setting up boundaries also. So the negative people that didn't accept what I was doing or thought it was foolish or thought it was a waste of my time, I set up boundaries. I told them, if you have nothing to say to support me, you can continue to be my friend. I love you, but I don't want to hear it. And that was their choice. They could either stay in my life or not. I loved them as my friends, but they weren't being supportive. You know, when you believe in something so deeply, you feel it in every fiber of your bone and your bones that you need to do this. And that's how I felt about competing. And I didn't have a support system at all. If anything, I had a lot of negativity around me. And I was a little bit in fight or flight mode at that time. I was really navigating life in my masculine energy. But that's what I needed at the time. Sometimes that is what we need, because I didn't have an opportunity to lean into my feminine energy. It was being a single mom. It was figuring out how I was going to make more money. It was figuring out who I wanted to be. And in the meantime, I was worried about what people might say about what I was doing, which I knew was good for me. Like, I knew it so well that nobody was going to get in my way. And it was just like when I started working with a coach and people criticized me for doing that. But when you believe in something so strongly, you know it. You know, when you feel in something so strongly, you're not going to be swayed any way at all. And that brought me into embracing my authenticity. When I realized that I wasn't going to ask for permission, that I was accepting myself and what I wanted to pursue, and standing in my power, standing in my true authenticity, I had to accept that not everybody was going to appreciate me or understand me. And I had to be okay with that. And when I did step into that authenticity, guess what? I lost a lot of friends, but I also made new ones. But it's scary. All right. I will tell you this. It is scary to take that big leap when you don't have anybody waiting on the other side for you. But what you do have waiting on the other side for you are new beginnings, a new life, a change in your life, stepping into your truth. And nothing feels better than to be your most authentic self, because otherwise we're pretending to be somebody else. And I'm not saying that I was pretending to be somebody else when I wasn't fully fearlessly authentic. I was 80% authentic. I wasn't trying to be unauthentic, but I knew that there were things in my life that I wanted to do, I wanted to pursue, I wanted to be. And I realized how important they were. It was sort of like the divorce. I'm doing this. I don't care if you think it's right or wrong. I'm doing this, whether you like it or not. I'm going to compete in fitness shows, in bikini shows, whether you like it or not. And I realized that had to be my mantra. And I did. I totally embraced it. So in sticking with that theme, one of the things that I did a while ago that I wanted to share with you before we take a quick break is, so I competed and I won 2 world shows consecutively. I opened up my fitness studio at 50, again, being met with no support. I competed, no support. Eventually, my daughters did support me in it. And I did have friends come along because they thought they saw me having success. And they were like, oh, okay, let's support her on this. But it wasn't at the beginning, trust me. And also opening up the studio, I knew that this was for me, even though I had people, well, an old boss say to me, who was only 30 years old, who's going to come to you? You're 50 years old. Who's going to come to you and want to train with an old lady? I'm like, just watch me. They'll come. So, and then I competed to be in Sports Illustrated Swim and got global attention for it for being the oldest woman to try out for it. So if you haven't seen the press on that, just go to the New York Post or Good Morning America and put in my name and you'll see it. One of the things that I did do that I decided to share today as I was thinking about everything I wanted to talk about, I decided a while ago, before Sports Illustrated happened, back in 2019, I had gotten married to my second husband, and I had dabbled a little bit in OnlyFans. And my account was private, so it's not the account that you see right now. And it was a private account. And I thought this would be fun because there's a part of me, there's the business Jody, there's Jody Fit. That was the name of my business, Jody Fit. That was the Instagram account I had that was public. And then I created the account that you see now, but it was under a different name and it was private. And in it, I had pictures that normally I wouldn't post, not that they were sexual at all. They were just not fitness pictures. They were pictures of me in a bikini. They were pictures of me in lingerie. And a friend of mine said, you should be making money doing this. Why don't you try OnlyFans? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do anything explicit. They're like, no, 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 you don't have to do anything explicit on it. Just use these pictures and see what happens. So I did. And the person that was helping me with the account was doing a great job. But unfortunately, the person posted a picture that was not appropriate. And some kids in the area, when I say kids, like high school kids, I guess were subscribers to my OnlyFans page and showed it to a friend of mine. Mind you, I didn't tell anybody that I was doing this because there was some concern about my reputation. And I didn't want anyone to think was the problem. This is my point of telling you this story, is that I didn't ask anybody their permission because I'm a grown-ass adult. And I didn't ask anybody what they thought. So nobody knew that I was doing this. And eventually, as I mentioned, these teenage kids must have been subscribers to my account. And they saw the picture and they showed it to my friend. And she called me up and basically shamed me. She shamed me for, why do you need to do this? Are you that desperate for the money? Why do you need to do this? I don't understand. Why would somebody like you need to do something like this? And what she didn't understand, and of course, I immediately, being the people pleaser that is still innately in me, I immediately retracted and was really, really embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I was humiliated. That picture that went up should have never gone up. I had never approved of it. And that was the humiliating part. But the other pictures were beautiful. They were taken by photographers. They were pictures that you would see in Sports Illustrated Swim. They were pictures you would see in Cosmopolitan. There was nothing shameful or anything I should have been embarrassed about, but that left me feeling very, very uncomfortable now. And then I began to doubt what I was doing. And instead of embracing myself, giving myself compassion, being as resilient to the negativity that I got earlier in my life in my 40s, for some reason, I didn't do that. Instead, I mean, first of all, the picture that went up was inappropriate. It should have never gone up. And I was really embarrassed. But the other pictures were beautiful. But what I did, because I was shamed, is I took the picture down and I closed down the account. So now, 1 minute from break, I'm going to tell you that one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is bringing back an OnlyFans page, because what I know about women is that whether or not they say it out loud, they want to feel vibrant. They want to feel attractive. Everybody regards sexy and attractive in different ways. So what I think is sexy may not be sexy for somebody else. What they think is sexy may not be sexy for me. But why can't we just all embrace who we really are and stop apologizing? So here I am preaching it all the time. So I need to know from you guys, should I bring it back? Let's see. All right, we're going to take a break. I will be back shortly. Welcome back, everybody. So I left you with a little cliffhanger there about OnlyFans. And, back in 2018, OnlyFans didn't come out until 2016. I think that's what I read, is 2016. And obviously during COVID, it grew tremendously. And I wasn't on it because I allowed myself, I'm not blaming it on this friend. I allowed myself to feel insecure about what I was doing, because look, there was some insecurity about this. Just like when I decided to get divorced, there was some insecurity about it. And I had to work my mindset around it. And just like competing and not having anybody support me, yes, I definitely had some insecurities about trusting my gut. And so when I decided to take down my OnlyFans account, it felt like I had done something against my will. They were just pictures, the same pictures that sometimes I even put up on Instagram. There's nothing, let's put it this way. They are the same kinds of pictures, as I said, you would either see in Maxim magazine, Cosmopolitan, or Sports Illustrated Swim. They're pictures of a fit, now 63-year-old woman, feeling sexy. And that's it. No contact with anybody. And it was really kind of empowering. And so I was a little pissed off at myself that I allowed myself to be bullied. Like I had been bullied years before, bullied by a group of stay-at-home moms that I was friendly with in my 20s and 30s, who started bullying me and shaming me as I decided to get divorced, and then got divorced and started dating and so on. And none of them had any compassion for me. None of them had any sympathy for me. And I wasn't looking for it. They were just outwardly critical, just like they were critical of the food that I ate and how I ordered my food. And my ex-husband was that way too. So I hadn't been knocked down like that in a long time, because the last time I took a really big leap of faith that wasn't accepted by society, that wasn't mainstream, was when I decided to compete. Now everybody's competing, but back in 2006, women my age at 47 were not competing. So I decided that I was bullied into changing and that I had to change. So I regretted it. I regretted that I allowed myself to fall into that place that I never wanted to go to again. And it's understand that OnlyFans, I was only on it for maybe 6 months. Understand that it wasn't just about it. It wasn't that it was OnlyFans. It was about the fact that I was doing something to step into my truth again, because part of who I am, part of my fearlessly authentic being is about feeling sexy, being hot and healthy, which is the name of my new program that I just rolled out on yesterday. So part of who I am has to do with me being fit, sexy, healthy. And so that kind of stripped me of, well, wait a minute, you just took away something that was really important to me, but I allowed it. So one of the things that I was just, I saw I think it's on Netflix. I can't remember where I saw it, but there is a documentary out about OnlyFans. And I thought to myself, maybe that would be a fun thing to go back to again, because in starting my Hot and Healthy Accelerator program, called Hot and Healthy, because that's how I look at things, is that when I said to the women, what brought you here? And they said, the name, we want to be hot and healthy. And I was hoping that would be their answer, but I wasn't really sure. And I thought, great, you're in the right place. This is the right place. You're with the right woman, because if anybody knows how to make you hot and healthy, it's going to be me. And then this thing with OnlyFans came up that I saw on the TV, and I thought, and I listened to it, and I thought, shit, I want to do this. It was really fun. Why not empower other women to feel sexy after 60? That sexy isn't just for young people, that sexy is a mindset. Feeling hot is a mindset. It comes with confidence. It comes with accepting who you are in your full authenticity, warts and all, as my dad used to say, and embracing it and not letting people bully you out of it, which is what I did. And I know OnlyFans has become more mainstream, and maybe I feel a little bit safer that way. So there I am. So, when I said at the beginning of the show, the aim of this show is so you can go and live your most fearlessly authentic life, because if we're not doing that, then what the hell are we doing here? But it's not always easy. So I am thinking, and I wanted to share it with you guys on the show today, I am thinking about starting up my OnlyFans show again, channel, whatever you want to call it, account, where there would be absolutely no explicit work and explicit content on there. It would just be me in bikinis. And, it's funny because nobody bullies the women. Nobody bullied Martha Stewart for being in Sports Illustrated Swim and feeling sexy. Nobody bullies or shames any of the women in Sports Illustrated Swim for posing in sexy poses. And the women on there, not all of them get paid to be on it. But why not get paid for who you are? It's like being a comedian. They get paid for being a comedian. Dancers get paid for being dancers. I'm a fit model. Why not get paid? So there is, it's not all that. And I would love to hear from you about me starting up my OnlyFans, from men and women. I know what the men are going to say, but really, I'd love to hear from the women. And so this is me not asking for permission, but I'd like to know if this would be something that you would find interesting, and to see an older woman empowering other women of all ages to be themselves. Because part of who I was and who I can be on OnlyFans is part of Jody being her authentic self. So I identify with being sexy. I identify with being healthy. I identify with being fit. And when those women told me that what drew them in was, they're like, I want to be hot and healthy. And I'm like, great. Yes, yes, yes. You are my ladies. And those are the ladies I want to continue to work with and be around and help. And I don't want to have any regrets. And up until this point in my life, like I said, I only have a few regrets. I don't want you guys to have any regrets. So one of the things that you can start doing, if you're right now on the precipice of trying to decide, do I go full in? Do I leave a relationship? Do I look for that new job? Do I pursue a new career? Do I move to another state? Do I move to another country? All of those things are part of what feels good to you. It's part of what helps you stand in your power. It's what makes you unique. So, number one, I want you to think about acknowledging your uniqueness right now as you're listening at home or in the car or at the gym. Hear me now. And I listen to a lot of podcasts in the gym. Acknowledge your uniqueness. Recognize that you are a one of a kind person with your own set of strengths and weaknesses, experiences and perspectives. And embrace what makes you different from other people. And that's what sells products. That's what people buy new products, because they're different, because they're hitting a pain point, because they're helping people live a different life, but they were scared to do that. Maybe people don't need this. If you look at all the Instagram accounts, there's every subject is covered, and these men and women have stepped into their truth to try to help other people. Or, you know what, guys? It's also for entertainment. As I said at the beginning of the show, Fearlessly Authentic is about educating you, empowering you, entertaining you a bit, and inspiring you to live your fearlessly authentic life. So not everything is about educating and empowering. Like, we can have fun. Everything doesn't always have to be for a point. And part of our purpose should bring us some profitability. Who said we're going to do all this work for no money? I don't know about you, but I don't like working for any money. Trust me, I've done it long enough. I know what it feels like to work and not make any money. But part of it is making money. And maybe that empowers us. So let me know. Email me, DM me. I'd love to know what you think about me opening up my OnlyFans page. Part of this is also about letting go of perfectionism. Before I jump on the show every single week, I read my notes over and over again. I edit them, I read them, I rearrange them. When it comes to working out, I'm not going to say, yes, I strive for perfection. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Yeah, I strive for perfection. And sometimes that gets in the way. And I really try not to. I really try to let go of the perfectionism, because I know I'm not perfect at all. And understand that being authentic doesn't mean being flawless. So many people say to me, well, if you're being fearlessly authentic, well, that doesn't mean that I don't have flaws. I have a lot of flaws. And part of becoming the person that you want to be and embracing your true authenticity is by allowing yourself to make mistakes and learning from them. And understanding that our imperfections are what makes us human and relatable. When I do come on here, I'm not perfect at all. Sometimes I fumble over my words. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to make my point. but I'm hoping that you are learning from something from it, and I am being a little bit entertaining. One of the big steps I just took was creating an online program called Hot and Healthy Accelerator, where I created a complete transformational program for women to go through in 6 weeks. And I'm just so excited to be working on this with the women that have joined. And that was a big step for me to offer something like that. But I embraced who I was. I called it what I wanted to call it. It made me feel good to call it the Hot and Healthy Accelerator because, again, it reflects authentically on who I am. And part of that is practicing self-acceptance, like who am I, and being compassionate towards myself. So when I was bullied, I wasn't very compassionate to myself. I beat myself up about it. Why did I do it? That was wrong. I should have asked more people. But if I start accepting all the parts of myself, flaws and vulnerabilities, I could really step into my truth. And anybody who doesn't accept you, ladies, for who you are, think about leaving that situation because you are a woman who does have flaws. And in order to love you fully, they need to accept flaws and all. And setting the boundaries. So if I had to do this all over again, when my friend came to me and made me feel bad about it. Now, look, I want you to also understand that if I was in it 100% and wasn't insecure about it, then it probably wouldn't have affected me that way. But because there was some insecurity about me doing it and anybody finding out, so when she brought it up, I felt very insecure. So think of it this way. I'm 5 feet tall. If somebody said to me, Jody, you're 3 feet tall, I would say, no, I'm not. I'm 5 feet tall. Like there would be nothing to discuss because I would feel so strongly about it because I knew it was the truth. And when she came to me and said that to me, what I wish I could have said, so this is a regret, what I wish I could have said to her was, this is something I really enjoy. And I feel sexy in my body and I'm fit and I'm healthy. And I want to empower other women to do the same thing. I want to encourage other women to do this if that's what they want to do. But for me, my body is a temple and it's helped me stay strong up until this time because I've taken really good care of it. Why not flaunt it? That's what they do in Sports Illustrated Swim, right? They're flaunting it. They're showing you this is how you can feel and this is how you can look in this bikini. So setting boundaries was something that I should have done. When she came to me, I should have said no. Just like I said no to my friends when I started competing, I should have said the same thing to her. If you have nothing positive to say, if you're not going to support me in this, then I'd rather not hear what you have to say. But remember, there was a picture that went up there that shouldn't have gone up. And that was, she was really calling me out on it. And then she went into more detail about like, why am I doing this? One of the most important things that I realized after I got divorced was that I wasn't surrounding myself with other authentic people who valued my authenticity, I should say. I didn't surround myself with people who valued and celebrated my authenticity. So if you are feeling that way right now, then connect with people who appreciate you for who you truly are and encourage you to be yourself. Another thing that you can do is Take the time to really explore your interests, passions, and values. And think about what really matters to you and what brings you joy. And align your actions with your authentic desires and aspirations. You know, when things stop bringing me joy, for example, when I had my studio, what really brought me joy, I offered group classes. But after the pandemic, it became more difficult. You know, we could only have a certain amount of people in a class. We all had to wear masks. They had to be separated. It was a real pain in the ass. And so we tried that out. And then I went back to old school one-on-one training. And that's what really, really brought me joy, was the one-on-one training. That is where I saw the transformations happen. That's where I built the relationships with the ladies. That's where they were vulnerable. That's where they were their most authentic selves. And that's why they began to step into their truth. Because everything that I'm talking about today, so it was bringing me joy. So I absolutely loved being there. So if you are in a situation right now where you're doing something that doesn't bring you joy, then think about doing something different. We always have to embrace our vulnerability, practice it, embrace it. Embrace it as a strength rather than a weakness. And the other thing, and I talked about this, and I do talk about this in my Hot and Healthy Accelerator, is challenging your limiting beliefs. Figure out what your inner critic is saying to you and what is it holding you back from actually doing. Because those self-limiting beliefs, and I'll give you OnlyFans as an example, is as I'm thinking about whether or not to create my account again, I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. This is going to be wrong. This is not going to be good. Doubting myself when I know damn well that this would be so much fun. And I know so many women would love to do the same thing. And that is what I would be doing, just like I'm doing on my Instagram page. I want women to embrace their hot selves as they age and not hide it. Stop hiding ourselves. Stop thinking we can't do things. And then celebrate our authenticity. Celebrate those unique qualities that you have, the accomplishments. When I posted a video that went viral with almost 27 million views, it was a video last year that I posted about being a postmenopausal woman. I'd never talked about being postmenopausal. And suddenly I did. And I got 27 million views on it because I was stepping into my authenticity. I was embracing this new journey I was about to go on of more self-discovery, and knowing that authenticity is a lifelong process. So I know that it's not something that happens every single day, every single moment. We need to practice it. We need to practice it every day. And sometimes it's very, very hard to do that. So I want you to think about all the things that I just mentioned. Let me know about what you think about an OnlyFans page. And, you know, I think it just got a really bad rap for being like porn. And really what it is another platform for content creation. But I think it's pretty cool to be where I am right now. And for any woman listening right now who is close to my age, think about, well, I feel sexy and I'm fit and I love the way I feel, why not create content on a platform that pays you? It's just like Instagram and TikTok, right? So I want to leave you with these things to remember. If you are struggling right now with giving yourself permission to embrace your own authenticity, acknowledge how unique you are, let go of perfectionism, be kind and compassionate towards yourself, allow yourself to express thoughts, feelings, and opinions genuinely without fear of judgment or rejection, and speak your truth, even if it means being vulnerable. That's all about expressing yourself authentically, allowing yourself to express your thoughts, feelings, and opinions without the fear of judgment or rejection. And that's what I fear right now, but I know that I have to step over that. And I am looking for your feedback, not to give me permission, but maybe a little bit. I want to know. I need to know. And of course, setting boundaries to honor your values, needs, and well-being. Surround yourself with other people who value and celebrate your authenticity. Take time to explore passions and values that are important to you. Embrace your vulnerability. My goodness, I mean, it's the best thing that you can do. Realize that your vulnerability is a strength rather than a weakness. I mean, I just shared something very vulnerable with you guys today. And identify and challenge any beliefs or inner critics that may be holding you back from fully embracing your authenticity, which is what I'm talking about today. And then celebrate, again, your own uniqueness. Celebrate your authenticity every single day. Embrace it, ladies. Embrace it, men. Everybody who is listening right now, just embrace who you are